Well, the first thing we start off with at the beginning of the year, we list the best rodeos we can get to. And so, you know, in the team roping this year, we're allowed to official as many as 80 rodeos. So when you're going down the list, it's very easy to put Vernal, Utah in the top 80. The secondary factor on that is going to be logistics and how practical, how difficult it is to work a rodeo.
It's nice, Buddy. He's always on top of it and keeps me up to date with all of it. So it's nice just to be able to get in the rig and go. He knows where all the good ones are, and I don't. So he takes me to all the good ones, and I'm just lucky to have him as a partner to be able to head for him.
I keep track of my prairie circuit rodeos. That's kind of fourth on the list. And North Platte, Nebraska is a really good prairie circuit rodeo for us. So putting those 2 points on there, then we just kind of try to fill in the blanks in between. So I'm going to be a first timer to Evergreen and Grover this week, but they more or less fit right between those 2 rodeos.
We're going to those rodeos and we're going to rope on different horses, and I want to be able to get my percentages up to make a more consistent rodeo run, and so try to just get a higher percentage of catching.
Number 2 in the world, Yeahquo. Buddy Hawkins, number 1 in the world on the heeling side. As we got North Dakota and Texas. Let's put a bee in their bonnet, boys. Oh my. No good. No good. Not good.
Probably the thing that people misunderstand the most about rodeo, I think when they look at the top of the standings, they think the guy at the top missed 0 this year, and the next guy missed 1, the next guy missed 2. But you know, in the last 10 rodeos, I think we've made 3 clean runs, and we've missed 7 of them.
I could have sat there and been mad last night for missing, but I thought I took a good shot at the steer to try to catch him as fast as I could, but it didn't work out for me, so I come over here, forgot about last night, ran another one today.
It's really cool to have the family, and it's very simple for me. If they weren't here, then I wouldn't be here. And obviously there's some all-night drives that you have to make to get to, you know, a big rodeo like Reno, Nevada, or a short round in Houston maybe. But I will not rodeo without my family at, you know, 80% of the events that I go to. If it comes down to, you know, whatever circle they're happy to make, that's the circle I'm going to be in. My wife's a super mom. She's not just a lady, but she makes it way easier for me than I would have ever imagined, you know, having kids out here on the road. You know, our oldest is 2, our youngest is 10 months, and yeah, she does basically all the work, and I just kind of act like a celebrity out here.
Ann and John, they've seen more country than I've seen. I saw by the time I was like 25. Like they've been in more states, and actually John was born in Washington, at Ellensburg at the rodeo. He came a few weeks early, and we were at the rodeo in Ellensburg, and he's called Ellensburg John now. In the last probably 10 or so years, I think a lot of families have started to go more. It seems like right now in the team roping world specifically, there are lots of families. Like just in the last our kids are gonna grow up with so many other little kids.
You know, this is such a salt of the earth group of people out here rodeoing that I wouldn't want to have to raise my kids any other way. I know there's other bunches of people that are amazing throughout the world, but these are the people that I jive with.
I've got a good friend that's going to help me out this summer driving a little bit, and Buddy and I will go in the rig for a couple places. So it'll be pretty nice. It wouldn't be as fun if I was going alone, but got a buddy helping me, so it'll be just fine.
I met him 2 years ago for the BFI. I needed stalls, and one of my friends knew him, was staying at his house, and told me to come over, and ever since. We were supposed to leave. We should only be there for 3 days, and we ended up being almost a whole month with JC and LJ. It was fun, and that's how we started to become friends. It takes a lot out of somebody, you know, not for everybody, I can say for sure. I couldn't do this, but yeah, I mean, to see him do good, it's good.
think you have to stay excited for it, because if you're not excited for it, then I don't think you need to be doing it, because I think everybody does it for the love of the game. I bet Buddy's a lot more positive than I am. if mental side, he's probably a lot more positive than me. You know, Buddy has such a sharp mind. You know, if you've had several conversations with him, so every point he hits has got a thorough point.
There's so many variables within team roping. You know, five different animals. You know, two people, 2 horses, and a steer. And the steer almost never tries to help us. And then on the flip side of that same thing, though, you know, we've got barrier penalties and leg penalties. And then, you know, the biggest obstacle of all, you can draw good, you can have your horses working good, be roping good, and then the competition is just so tough.
Oh, it's nice. This is a cool rodeo. You know, it's very, very old school feeling.
There you'll see the Grover flags, and they are great grandchildren of the one and only Earl Anderson, in which our rodeo is in memory.
So I think it's a cool rodeo. The weather's nice now that it quit raining, nice temperature, so we love that.
Keeping the kids rested, I think that's probably the biggest challenge. Is like, when they do get tired, it's like they get a little cranky.
You know, one of the things I learned early on in rodeoing is it's easy to stay tired. It's if you're rested, it's hard to stay rested, but it's easy to stay tired. So yeah, they decided to maybe pass on the late night drive tonight. The daytime would have been easy, but the late night drive would have been a little too much. So yeah, they backed off and stayed with some friends. So I'm kind of solo, which kind of feels like old times. I'm kind of getting the full circle of rodeo this week too.
I'd like to go for 100% today. That means good at the barrier, good head catch, good pulling the cow, and if I do that, I know Buddy's going to wipe him out and heel him 2 feet.
It's the fans that pay the way and make this deal doable. So back to that, you know, I hate to ever, you know, really photo finish or put myself in a spot where I might have to let the fans down. So in my particular case, you know, here it's going to be fine. We're Central Time Zone over there, so that's something, you know, that sneaks up on you if you haven't rodeoed very much. You get to the time zones and, you know, maybe you gain an hour or lose an hour. This particular case, I think we're going to be totally good, but you have to consider all that stuff. And like I said, you know, the priority here is that we give the fans a good show at both perfs.
Watch the little sorrow horse runs. He's headed to third. We're around it. Come on, everybody, make a little noise. And we're ready. Time's going to be an 18:62.
In the Prairie Circuit. The header, J.C. Yeahquo. He is the number 2 man in the world standings as we speak. Buddy Hawkins, that's your healer. Stephenville, Texas, number 1 man in the world. 6 times he's been to the Wrangler National Finals. He has won over $1.3 million. They won $50,000 in Houston. No. That is a pair of legends. They will be around for a long time. How about a little North Platte hospitality for?
Oh, I think it was a decent weekend. It wasn't the best weekend we've ever had, but at least we got 2 caught, and we're sitting good at those 2 rodeos. And the other ones I can build off of and just go to the next one. Not going to do that again.
I think that's probably the part, like we talked about the other day. You know, I think that they think I think it's kind of the perception that, you know, when you're toward the top of a list that you probably don't ever make any mistakes. And, you know, this is probably going to end up being a more lucrative weekend than we average. You know, we've been catching 40 to 50% of them lately, you know, so this weekend we're at about 50%, and so that's kind of the deal. Everybody likes the 100% mark, but, you know, nobody's won $1 million in any event yet during a season, and that's because, you know, we buck off in the timed events or rather the rough stock, or we have penalties or make mistakes in the timed events. But it's so competitive, you know, the reason that you're going to catch a higher percentage at the lighter rodeos is because, you know, there's a fewer number of teams, the competition's a little bit lighter, people are trying to, you know, do other stuff while they're at the event, whether they're chasing circuit points or trying to make sure their horses are working good. Then you get to the tougher events with more teams, kind of more at stake. I don't know if I would say it's more pressure after you've done it for a while. It kind of seems to me like the ones that are more pressure when you're focused on other stuff. If you're just focused on the cow, to me, it doesn't really matter how much you're roping for. But I mean, good weekend, safe trip. Everybody's healthy, horses are healthy, and then you know, you always plan on doing better next week. If you win 4 in a row, you want to win 5 in a row next week.